right, here we go. Got Jim back on the call today for all you lovely people watching. Jim, I kind of wanted to go over, everyone heard your story last time you were on here, kind of what background you came from. Obviously, you're a pretty high caliber or volume producer in the field, can write a lot of business. What's the highest month you've ever wrote here?
Yeah, thanks, Mason. It's been about, I think, $43,400 in a month.
It's all simplified issue stuff.
All simplified issue.
There you go. Get right today, get paid tomorrow. Best way.
100%.
And how many, what do you consistently kind of do? Because you obviously manage a lot of other things outside of producing. What's kind of a average month for you in production?
I mean, average, I would say probably about 20,000, 15 to 20,000 while producing, while still managing a $250,000 agency a month.
How many people do you have below you?
45 to 47 active writers.
And that's obviously new people coming in and some people finding out this industry is not as easy as some people make it out to be. So how long did it take you to kind of get writing that much business consistently?
It probably took me about 90 days is the way I always cycle it. I say, you gotta make a new habit. It's going to take 90 days to make that new habit. And that's really kind of the essentials of, you're not going to know anything about insurance unless you've been in the insurance field before. Most people don't know anything about sales. So you have to learn the ins and outs, talking to people. And it takes about 90 days. You can't just give up on an opportunity within the first 30 days or 2 weeks because you didn't have success. If you always give up in the first 2 weeks of doing something, you're always going to be that person that always gives up.
Quitting doesn't just become a habit that affects you either. Later on, you get a kid, you get some wives, not wives, but a wife, and you end up quitting on them too. It becomes a habit that doesn't just affect you. How long do you think a new agent really has to stay in this business to really find out if it's for them? Do you think 12 months would be a good time?
Yeah, I think about a year, year would be sufficient. I mean, you can make really good money here. You just have to put the work in, right? So I would say probably about a year. Yeah.
Well, obviously I say a year because that's when you kind of see the fruits of your labor kind of coming in, those tail ends of the policies, months 10, 11, and 12. It's kind of like you got a raise. The first 9 months is really all the struggle, I guess you would say, or you're not really seeing any benefit. Where do you think new agents should kind of start just in general? Like what do you think their focus should really be on it? If they don't have any experience in the industry, and I actually prefer that because you don't have to teach them like untrained bad habits.
Right.
Because obviously what they were doing before wasn't working.
I would tell you, probably, the biggest thing is the activity. Making sure you're not afraid of the phone, not making sure you got to pick the phone up, make sure it's not heavy, and really just plugging into your mentor, asking questions. That's really what I would tell you.
Like taking initiative, kind of got to be hungry to do good here. And what were the main struggles you kind of went through in your first 90 days, really just learning this business?
Yeah, I mean, I never got any conference calls. I, didn't contact my mentor. I thought I could do it on my own. All the things that they tell you not to do, I was a person that did them. I didn't sell anything for quite a while. And then, you wonder why I didn't sell anything, because I wasn't plugging into a system. I wasn't plugging into what matters.
How many appointments, like when you first started, how many appointments did you go through without selling a single thing?
I think it was like 26.
Woo, that's getting up there.
Yeah.
And then what happened though? What got you into closing business?
calling from the home.
What do you mean by calling from the home? That's
You know,
mainly, I know it's probably a symmetry thing, but what is that?
basically, calling your mentor, calling your upline, calling your person who brought you into this business, calling for help, making sure you're doing the right thing. If you get stuck, call them. They're here. They're there to, turn the situation around. 75% of the time. Again, you're going to come in here not knowing anything, and you're going to wonder, okay, how do I do this, or how do I not do this, right? So, your only way is to talk to your mentor.
And do you think like the most important thing they should be doing is reading applications, studying guides, knowing all the products inside and out, what every rider stands for, or what do you really think is important just to get them learning the business pretty quickly?
Oh, can you repeat that?
Like, what do you think they should be focused on? Should they be focused on reading every agent handbook for every carrier they just got contracted with to know all the terminology of insurance, or should they just be making a mess and cleaning it up, setting as many appointments as they can, getting in front of people? Like, what do you think their focus should be on?
Um, I would tell you, get dirty. Buy some leads. Get on the phone, call. Don't worry about the things you can't control. You'll learn along the way. So that's what I would tell you, and really focus on that. That's the way that I always interpret that is just get going, get dirty, and fall forward.
100%. What do you think about the agents who are scared to fail? Like they're
Everybody
making
fails.
mistakes.
Right. Everybody fails, but you just have to pick yourself up and move forward.
And do you think you just kind of do that by keep making the activity, keep making the calls?
Yeah.
And what do you mean by not worrying about stuff you can't control? Like what are some things you can control in this industry?
You can control your activity. I keep saying activity. You can control the dials you make. You can control the leads that you buy, and you can control, the things that are your controllables. Like, do I need to pick up the phone? What time do I need to do the dials? What time, on my schedule do I have that planned? Those are your controllables. The other controllables that you don't have are if people are going to pick the phone up, or if people are going to make appointments. You only can do what you can do, and to the best of your ability.
And do you see this as a numbers game? Like you hear Nate Offord saying he can send a dog out to 10 people and come back with 3 applications or something. Do you think this ever falls into a numbers game category? Like how many people you can get in front of?
Yeah. I mean, I got in front of 26 people and didn't sell anything, but then I can go 30 for 30. So it just depends. I mean, people have slumps. People are great. People don't do anything, but you really have to pick up the slack and just do the work and be vulnerable.
Absolutely, 100%. A big one for me is like, well, let's just use some actual numbers. Just what we see here at Symmetry for an average agent. So, how many appointments, if they're virtual or in home? Like, let's just say people here, for example, are running virtual appointments. How many virtual, like Zoom appointments, should someone like a new agent be scheduling a week?
I always like to tell people they should be scheduling. If you're doing virtually, you're doing about 20 to 25.
And why do you say 20 to 25? Like, can you break that down?
You
Like
got
how
to
the
think.
numbers work?
I would say half of them people are gonna resort to you, port you, whatever you want to call it. Not show up. It's the given world of how what we live in is people think that people's time is valuable, so they don't care, so they won't just show. They'll just not show up. So then those other 50 are going to show up. You're going to sell about half, about 8 of them is what I say. So, 80, 70, 80% close ratio. That's pretty good in my opinion.
So let's just break that down. Like out of you set 25 appointments, 10 don't show. So you got 15 appointments left. And out of a 70 to 80% close ratio, what you're closing 10 of those families,
Mhm.
11 or 12. And what does that kind of break down? If you help 12 out of 15 families that showed up, what would that kind of look like as far as applications and money in your pocket?
Well, I mean, the average application is what, $1,000 per family. So, or per application, 10 applications, $10,000, at the contract level, 7,500 minus 75%, you're at about 5,800, 5,900 in your bank account.
And that's just advance.
Correct.
As long as those people keep it in force, you'll get the other couple grand on those
Mhm.
back ends of those policies.
Yes.
Perfect. And how much do you think a new agent should be writing just here at Symmetry every month, or just in general? Like, to stay profitable and have a good cash flow. That way you don't walk yourself out of this business.
I mean, you got to be doing, I think, cash flow as far as I mean, you got to be doing, 3 to 5K a week to have, to continue to be cash flowing money in your account.
So
I mean, you're
16,
spending,
yeah.
I mean, you're spending, $500, $600 on leads a week, right? And then you're going, making $5,000 or $6,000. I don't know. That's a pretty darn good investment to me.
Good ROI. And what would you kind of tell people who are like scared to buy leads or very standoffish about it? They want to come do insurance, but they don't want to buy leads.
Do you want to go to your family? Do you want to go to your family and friends and sell insurance? Do you want to be a skis bag? No, probably not. Symmetry has leads because, we want you to be in business. We don't want you not to be in business. So, I would probably tell you that, having leads, having a source of money flow is the way I call it. You just got to pick up the phone and dial it. I mean, people fill out a form and they're interested in what we have because people want mortgage protection. People are looking for it.
So you see it as more of a business expense or an investment, as rather than just some piece of paper that cost however much dollar amount.
Correct.
Yeah, you said 500 to 600 a week is pretty good.
Yeah.
For a full-time agent. Okay.
For a full-time agent.
And obviously, what do you recommend for people who they come here, they're writing the business, they're doing 20,000 a month, they're issue paying 16,000 of that 20. How does someone go about kind of getting into recruiting?
I mean, I would hope your agency owner or your mentor, whoever it is, has a platform for you. But if you don't, I mean, get right into Facebook. Put some ads out on Facebook. Those are free. Those are cheap for you. And then really maybe investing in $500 to $1,000 a month of your business, into your business to recruit. Getting ZipRecruiter, Monster, Career Builder, whoever, Craigslist, and really thinking about that.
And why would someone want to build? Like, what made you kind of want to build when you were a newer agent starting here? What was the kind of vision you saw?
Oh, the vision I saw here.
Yeah, like what made you want
I
to
mean-
start building a team?
I mean, look at the people around that are making really good money, building an agency, getting passive income, not having to be in the field for, the rest of my life. I don't want to be a field agent. I want to have you know, I want to look back and say, man, look at how many people I helped um, become an agency owner, have that exclusive agency owner contract here at Symmetry, um, and know that, hey, you know, if I can do it, and anybody else can do it, you know, and that would be fulfilling for me, because I just saw, you know, all the people that were agency owners looked happy, looked excited, knew they had a vision for bigger, you know.
So you're more or less just worried about getting out of the field and kind of getting more of that time back with your family, friends, doing more of the stuff that matter to you.
I mean, I have it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that, but not everybody watching
No,
does.
I,
So
uh, I have it now. I mean, I have that ability that I didn't have before. I mean, you know, I make my schedule. I keep it very cut and dry. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice part with Symmetry, right? Is that you have an exclusive agency owner contract. You're right, exclusive. You know, so you know, other people might say, you know, we have all these other things, right? But we have that opportunity for you to become an agency owner. Something happens to you or your family, you're you're given that for the rest of your life, right? I mean, that's unbelievable.
generational wealth.
Hmm.
You know, I 100% agree with you. What do you think the most important part of recruiting is for people just looking to get into that?
What can you repeat that?
Like, what do you feel like the most important part of building an agency just in general is? Is it finding the right type of people? Is it like,
I mean, there's always finding the right type of people, but I also think that, you know, managing your individuals and making sure they're being productive, and really, you know, you want to build wide. You want to build with more people instead of having, you know, a small amount of agents. Um, you know, running a heap ton of business, because that's not building. That's not going to give you your, you know, generational wealth. Um, you know, you gotta make sure people have that vision. Make sure people, you know, see the light, see what you know, Symmetry really has to offer. It's just not a job, right? This is a career. Being an insurance broker is a career that can give you ungodly amounts of income and time back.
and when you talk about managing people, are you do you mean like micromanaging or just kind of pouring into the right type of, like, how does that look for you? What how do you distinguish like who to put more time into than others? Or
I mean, I put my time into the people that are winning, people that are getting on the calls, people that are doing the activities, people that are really pursuing this for um you know, pursuing this for more. Um that's really what I look at. And you know, if you want to be put in a duck pond, you know, because you don't want to put in all the effort, then that's your choice. But I you know, there's certain people that you can look at and see, man, you can build a business here. You can really do well here, you know. You know, am I going to put all my effort into that? No, because you know, there's other agents that need help too, right? So it's finding that fine line. But I think, you know, clarifying your question is, you know, you win fast here, right? You do the right things, you win fast.
no, absolutely. And did you, like, you obviously had to grow to be the like leader you are. Like, what are some things you kind of did over the past 4.5 years here at Symmetry to make you into the person you are today? Like, were you reading a certain genre of books? Were you hanging around a certain type of people? Or like, what were you doing to build yourself into a good leader, someone who's not just cracking a whip at people?
I mean, it took me a little bit of time. You know, and it took me a couple of years to figure out who I was, how I'm going to do it. And really just, make sure that, make sure who I was, right? I mean, it just, did I read books? I mean, I read books somewhat, right? Leadership books are great. But I had to change the way I thought and the way I acted and the way that, I represented myself. And that takes time to grow yourself. So, there was no magical tool. It was just me working on me.
Like, what kind of activities did you do to help that? Like, were you like, what was really changing how you acted and how you like behavior, stuff like that? How did you grow that or make yourself more professional? How did you grow and develop yourself as
Yeah,
a
so I got some coaching. At the time we had Giant. And, I read a couple of books and, really thought to myself, if I want to grow this business, I need to change how I act and really, how I want to be.
it was more or less just you coming to terms with really what you wanted and setting a plan on how you wanted to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just one last thing before we go, like what do you think a new agent's focus just in the insurance industry in general? What do you think their number one focus should be on? Someone brand new coming in looking at this.
Someone brand new looking at this, I would say,
Like the most important thing they should be focusing on, whether that's activity, building, or I know that is going to.
I would say, I would say do a mixture of both, but number one is your activity, because you need to have money to support those other habits. So making sure that you have, enough income in your play box to build a business and to sustain it.
So just invest in yourself pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But it also comes from getting in front of people. So, hey, dude, thank you so much for being on here. And it is going to, hopefully this helps anybody out watching. So thanks,
Yeah.
Jim.
Anytime, man.
Anytime.
Anytime.